Super Quantum Mech King Great Magnus is now Magnus, Great King of the Computer. What the fuck? Magnus, Great King of the Computer. Alright, well, if you've just joined us, if you're wondering what the hell's going on, we're basically badly translating cards. So we're taking card text, like just English card text, and then putting it into Google Translate, and then translating it around the world through the various different TCG languages. So English to Korean, and then from Korean back to German, and then German to Japanese, etc., etc. And then eventually we end up back in English, and then we'll see what happens, and we'll see what we get. I'd also just like to shout out the translated one on Twitter, because this is where I got this idea from. He does weird translations of cards and stuff, so check that out on Twitter. Now, so Rainbow Neos, put the name up here, and we'll put the card text here. All right. Okay, it looks pretty normal to me. And then we'll start translating. So English, let's go Chinese first. Rainbow Nova, you must invoke it as a mixed material monster. Mixed material monster. This is like mixed material monster. I don't even get it. And it cannot be special summoned by any other method. You have to mix material it. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Send one monster you control to the graveyard, and put all the monsters in the opponent's field in your deck! Once per turn, I can send one monster I control to the grave, and then put all of my opponent's monsters on his field and just shuffle them into my deck. Send cards from your deck to your graveyard and wash all the cards in your opponent's graveyard with your deck. What the fuck? Send cards from your deck to your grave. So I deck myself out. I melt everything I control. And then I get out some soap and water and I wash my opponent's grave with my deck. Okay, that's Rainbow Nova for anyone curious. This is the new support. Number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titan Galaxy. Wow, that's actually not that bad. But his summoning requirements, just a level 2 monster. Just a level 2 monster. Paleozoic Frogs, best deck. One material, just one level 2. It's like Zoo now. We could just start putting Harbingers on top of our Dip Frogs and swap frogs. Baby raccoons, no meta. Yeah, exactly. Obedience School to just put like 3 Harbingers on the field. Oh wait, Master 04. Fuck, never mind. But that's still pretty amazing. Alright, once per turn. If you activate a magic card or an effect in the turn space, you can cancel the effect. Turn space. In this case, add the letter XYZ material to this letter. Wow, okay, so we're maybe some ABC support here. In this case, add the letter XC material to this letter, okay? When an enemy monster declares an attack, you can separate the XC material from this card, change the target of the attack on this card, and calculate the damage. I'm really impressed. That has retained the original effect quite well. Like, that kind of makes sense. If the monster on the side of the field is destroyed by combat or card effects, you can choose which side monsters you control. Oh my god, it's Switcheroo! It's Switcheroo stream. It's Switcheroo. So, if the monster on the side of the field is destroyed by combat or card effects, you can choose which side monsters you control. So you can just change control of your opponent's whole board. I really wanted to do Masterpiece. He's a pretty long boy. He is quite the long boy. Alright, so we'll start off with Japanese. Alright guys, Masterpiece's new errata. The new support for True Draco. The new boss monster is Obra Prima Real Redracuare. That's English apparently. That's Spanish to English. Obra Prima is the new masterpiece. So Obra Prima. Tribute. If you face this card as the ground and fly to the ground, you can not only pay tribute to your magic card / trap card, but also pay tribute to the monster. Monsters, spells, traps are not affected by the effects of the same type of card monster, spell, or trap. Once per turn, if you recontrol the monster in turn, discard a continuous spell or trap from your grave and place a card in the field. I'm going to destroy that. I'm going to destroy that. Once per turn, if you recontrol the monster in turn, so let's say for example, if you mind control your opponent's monster, and then they take it back, they would have to mind control your monster. So if your opponent mind controls your monster, and then you get it back, you can discard a continuous spell or trap from your graveyard, and then place a card on the field. Just place a card in the field. Just place a card on the field. Like, you can just place another Obra Prima on the field. You can just place a Rainbow Nova on the field. Or, just put a Phenomenag on the field. So, yeah, if you ever recontrol your monster in a duel, just place a card on the field. From your binder, from your other deck box. And then his final effect, I'm going to destroy. I'm going to destroy. No cost, no activation requirement. Just, I'm going to destroy that. Super Quantum Mech King Great Magnus is now Magnus, Great King of the Computer. What the fuck? Magnus, Great King of the Computer. He needs level 3 12 monster. He needs level 3 12 monster. He needs 12 level 3 monsters. 12 level 3 monsters. I don't know how. Magnus of the Great King of the Computer requires 12 level 3 monsters. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can cast the name Superb Beasts in the graveyard 3 times. This card receives this effect based on the number of XYZ data with different names. So if there's 2 or more players in the duel, I guess, if there's 2 or more players, once per turn in the player's main phase, separate 1 XE material from the card and bat a box in play during the game. What? If it has 4 or more XYZ data with different name, Super Quante cards are not affected by the card. Alright, it's kind of retained the Tower's effect, so that's impressive. So if there's 6 or more players, the opponent cannot add the card from the deck by hand through the card effect. It's actually retained most of its important card text. Alright, original Relinquish text. Oh boy. The new errata of Relinquished. The original card text of Relinquished. Did you know Relinquished was originally called Abandonment? This has some serious, like, parenting issues, okay? This is Abandonment. This monster receives attack and defense from the monster in the field. Wow. So Abandonment now just has the same attack and defense as from the monster in the field. Damage shown face up, defense 0. Treat it like a magic card with the selected monster. Drop it and release it. Fucking Snoop Dogg errata. Drop it and release it. Drop it and release it. When Abandonment trying to get at you, drop it and release it. Drop it. So, Abandonment. Treat it like a magic card with the selected monster. Drop it and release it. This effect can only be used once per turn. Wow, that translated perfectly. I'm impressed. Equipped with 1 monster at a time. Okay, so we can only Abandonment 1 monster at a time. When an opponent's monster attacks a monster whose attack strength is greater than abort when abandoning a unit, the hit damage gained by the monster attack also applies to the other. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, number 86, Heroic Champion Rongominiad. Rongominiad is now the 86 Hero Champions. Long Yard. Long Yard. We are now doing Adam Sandler films, The Long Yard. The longest yard. Alright, Long Yard. He needs 2 or more 4 warrior monsters. Maximum of 5 levels. 2 or more 4 more. So what is that? Is that 8 warriors? 2 or more 4 warriors? So 2 times 4, 8 warriors. Alright, long yard, boys. Remove the Xyz Meteor from this card each time your opponent finishes. Each time your opponent finishes. The bonus effect of this card is based on the Xyz data number. So again, we're dealing with Xyz data. I love that. So 1 or more. The long yard cannot be destroyed in battle. 2 or more Xyz data numbers. Attack and defense are increased by 1500 points. 3 or higher, unaffected by other card effects. 4 or more, normal summon monsters or special summon monsters can't be used. It can't be used. Once per turn, you can destroy all cards you control. That's so bad. That's terrible. So you need 2 4 warrior monsters. So you need like 8 monsters just to make this guy, and then once per turn, you can destroy all cards you control. Just blow up your own field for 8 monsters. All right, Ptolemaeus is now Toro mo Telatador. Toro mo Telatador. It's like a mix of like Japanese and Spanish sounding like caricatures. Toro mo Telatador. 2 monsters level 4 or higher. Okay, so this is the first Xyz monster we've done that hasn't fucked the materials. So 2 monsters that are level 4 or higher. So it's a little bit crazy that you can summon it with basically anything that's over level 4 and you only need 2 of them. So once per turn, you can buy 3 Xyz items from this card. You can buy 3 Xyz items. Once per turn, you just sell your opponent 3 materials. Take the card from the additional deck and remove this card and the digital monster from this card. I like the Xyz stuff in front of this card than the top monster in your hand. It's speaking in first person. It's speaking in first person. I like the Xyz stuff in front of this card and the top monster in your hand. This is considered Xyz summon, and the Xyz hardware attached to this card will invoke the monster hardware for Xyz. Okay, so you can separate the 7 Xyz data from this card. At the end of each player's stage, Xyz, once the material is facing the front of the card, you can attach a Satellarite card to the additional deck. Let's just remind ourselves. Exodia the Forbidden One. If you have right leg of the Forbidden One, left leg, right arm, left arm, in addition to this card in your hand, you win the duel. Alright, pretty simple. Let's see what Mega Translating has done to this card. One of the banned exoforms. One of the banned exoforms. This card is obtained only if the right hand of the Forbidden Man, the right leg of the Forbidden Man, the right arm of the Forbidden Man, and the left arm of this person are prohibited. A duel. What? One of the banned exoforms. Alright, this is number 95. Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon is Galaxies and Galaxies 95. Galaxies and Galaxies. Monster level 3 9. So it needs 9 level 3 monsters. Level 3 monster level 3 9. So it needs 9 level 3 monsters. Okay. When XYZ activates this card, you can send 3 dragon monsters from your deck to the graveyard. The enemy releases 3 monsters from your deck. The enemy releases. I love how it says the enemy. It's gotten a lot more violent. It used to just say like opponent, but now it's saying the enemy. So the enemy releases 3 monsters from your deck. I don't know what release means. What do you think release means? Go free. Go back to your booster packs. Right, okay, we obviously need to do Shooting Quasar Dragon. Here we go, boys. For Doctor Registration! For Doctor Registration! 1 Monkey Sink Sink plus 2 Monkey Sink is asynchronous. Monkey Sink Sink. It must be called at the same time and cannot be evoked any other way. The maximum number of combat attacks per battle phase of this card is equal to the number of untuned monsters used in the synchronization hardware. Play a card or effect on the player's turn once per turn. Oh my god, that's broken! So you can activate a card or effect on the player's turn once per turn. So I guess like during either player's turn, you can just activate any card. It's like on your opponent's turn, just Raigeki. Activation may be denied, however. However, the activation may be denied, alright? So it has a really broken effect, but it may be denied. When this card is displayed, you can special summon and summon Meteor Dragon from the extra deck. Wow, okay. So when this card is displayed, alright, so if we just pick up our extra deck and show our opponent this monster, we can just summon Meteor Dragon. Is that a real card? That sounds like that would be a real card. It is a real card. Wow! It's a level 6 Dragon Earth Vanilla Meteor Dragon. Yeah, we could just summon this from our extra deck. So apparently we can play Meteor Dragon in our extra deck. And yeah, so it's quite hard to summon though. We need a Monkey Sink and 2 Monkey Sinks. Alright, Astrograph Sorcerer's new translated effect. The Pendulum effect. Wow, it didn't fuck up the word pendulum. That is really surprising. So the new Pendulum effect of Astrograph Sorcerer is in the basic phase. In the basic phase. In the very basic phase, okay? I haven't even read the rest of this. And I'm dying. In the basic phase. If you destroy this card, you can put Star Wizard from your hand or your deck and place it in a pendulum or special area. Please call me the astronomy shooter effect. Can only be used once per turn. What the fuck? Please call me the astronomy shooter effect. Can only be used once per turn. Symmetry and symmetries of the 4 monster that is in the hand: Staircase, Dragon Muzu, Dragon Fusion, Citation Spell Special Citation, Commander-in-Chief Zark Citation, and an additional deck of 1, which is considered as a merged call. The fusion effect of Astrograph is so fucked. I'm actually crying tears right now. I'm only referring to Zark as Commander-in-Chief from now on. Towers into English becomes, are you ready for it? Portuguese Towers into English is, you cannot summon it specifically, but you need 3 complements to the Klee for normal summoning. So you can't summon Towers specifically, but you do need 3 complements to the Klee for normal summon. So you have to complement the Klee archetype 3 times. You have to complement. So it's like you sit down for the duel, you activate Scout, you add Towers to hand, and then you go, Towers, you're really big. Towers, you're really smart. Towers, you are so good at staying on the field. Tips Fedora. And then you can for normal summoning. Okay, so that's the summoning condition of Towers. You need to compliment it 3 times. You need to say 3 nice things. So you have to compliment Towers 3 times. And then, when this card is summoned by normal summon successfully, it is unaffected by the magic or trap effect, and is not affected by monsters whose source is less than the current card level. Each monster invoked reduces the point of attack and armor by 500. Attack and armor! Oh my god, we have armor in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. This is a good mechanic. I'm pretty happy. I've always wondered what it'd be like to have armor in Yu-Gi-Oh! But so here we go. So each monster invoked, so automatically, the Towers is suddenly become. Towers is suddenly what's it called? A counter to the invoked archetype. So every invoked monster reduces the point of attack and armor by 500. So, sorry Merkaba, you're gonna have to lose 500 armor. Once per turn, you can send 1 opponent's monster to your graveyard in your opponent's field. To your graveyard! You can send your opponent's monsters to your own graveyard. That's amazing. I don't even understand Inspector Border in English. How am I going to understand Inspector Border in fucking translated like 10 times? Alright, Inspector Border. English. Alright, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Alright, Inspector Border just got reprinted. He is now Resident Inspector. Resident Inspector, Resident Sleeper in the chat. So Resident Inspector's new effect is, if a monster is controlled, he cannot play normally or play regularly. So if a monster is controlled, he cannot play normally or play regularly. You cannot activate a monster card until it has more monstrous effects on the field than the number of monsters. Magical Art, Fusion, Sync, Ixie, Pendulum Link before this turn. So it needs to have a really, really evil monstrous effect before you can use it. Monster effect. Even if the call to an effect is cancelled, it is calculated as the sum of the number of turns, and only the effect of the activated monster during combat is counted. It's actually better than the original text. It makes more sense than the original text. I swear to God, this actually just makes more sense. It's just as fucked as each other. They're honestly just as fucked as each other. Like, I legitimately resonate and I feel more connected with this card text than I do with the original. Like, they're both just as bad. So, yeah, Dark Worlds are bad enough in English. Just imagine how terrible it's going to be in... once we translate it back and forth like 50 times. Why is it not pasting? Come on, copy. So, Snow Blacklight. When this card is discarded by the effect of a card in the graveyard, when it is discarded in the graveyard of card effects of the opponent, it becomes the target of the target monster in the graveyard of the opponent. Put a Dark World map in your hand, in your library, and fill it to the defensive mark before the turn. What? What? Is there text-to-speech?
Snow Blacklight. When this card is discarded by the effect of a card in the graveyard, when it is discarded in the graveyard of card effects of the opponent, it becomes the target of the target monster in the graveyard of the opponent. Put a Dark World map in your hand in your library and fill it to the defensive mark before the turn.
This is so shit. It makes no sense. Do you want to, like, real talk? Do you want to know why this card makes no sense? At least the other ones kind of had like formulated sentences. Do you know why this one doesn't have any sort of like functioning sentence? It's because the original card text of Snow is that shit. It is that terrible. It is that badly worded that it just gets fucked even more when you do it like translated this way.